Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Trying from Blank episode. Episode 40 is going to be on ENA. Cheers to Chesky for the recommendation within Wealth Group. Did see some recommendations on Twitter as well, but there wasn't exactly anything that tickled my fancy. I mean, for me with these episodes, I do take a look at them a little bit before just to see if there's a somewhat good chart to work with. You know, we had a few coins like Tia recommended and a few other coins, but to me on first glance these were not the sort of the coins I want to be looking at on an episode. ENA has a pretty nice chart in terms of price action. Like after quickly taking a look at it, you know, just quickly glancing at this price action, I can see that we have some stuff to work with, along with ETH pumping and ETH BTC putting in a bit of a big green daily candle. It makes sense to look at ENA, you know, an ETH coin, especially if we're potentially seeing some early signs of a move into Ethereum. For me, it's too close to say yet. We still need to get above 2k, but it is worth looking at some ETH coins now and potentially looking at getting some ETH exposure on utility coins. And we're going to be looking at ENA. Let's get into it. I'm starting on the monthly. We can see pretty nice resistance towards that 0.9 level. 0.9, a big resistance for ENA. We can see it failed to close above it multiple times. We can see that with the wicks above resistance, how price failed to break through there for 5 months now. Even when we back tested it in January, December, that was the place it would capped price. As we go on to the weekly, I'm sure this will change a little bit, but overall big monthly level around that 0.9, just below that whole $1 level, you know, his psychological number $1, big level for price to get back above. If we're looking down towards the lows, we can see a bit of support here for ENA around this 0.27. I'm sure on the weekly and the daily the level will be a bit clearer. But for now, what we'll do, we'll just highlight this area as clear monthly support. What we sort of have is this big higher time frame range in the grand scheme of things. It's like a range between 0.9 and 0.27 area. So with that, we could potentially be looking for a rotation back towards 0.9, just below that $1 level if we do get a rally on ETH coins. But we'll go on to the weekly now and see what we can work with. So when we go onto the weekly, we can see weekly resistance a bit higher, that 126 area. We did have that monthly resistance around 0.9, which we'll leave there for now. But we do have that weekly resistance around 126, so both as important as each other in terms of levels. Weekly, as I said, the support becomes a bit clearer down here. We have some weekly equal lows down here. We did get swept on this one, but then we also have another stacked set of kind of equal lows here, so that's something to consider when we look at potentially taking a position down here. Weekly momentum, can't see anything right now. The daily might have some sort of momentum we can look at. Overall, ENA looks to be stuck in a bit of a downtrend, capped by a strong downtrend structure. We can see right now, you know, what happens is we sort of form a structured low area, we break down, we retest that structured low area and break down again. What we have is like sort of like this step down price action, as I like to call it. We can see here, right, it's like kind of like a staircase down. If we did get a shift in this structure, so for example, if ENA did get back above this 0.35 area on the weekly, that could be pretty positive. Right now, yeah, that seems like the level to get back above for ENA, this 0.5 area. We can see it goes back towards July 2024. And we can see how that July 2024 bottom actually had that similar sort of staircase structure, right? And then what happened is once this structure eventually flipped and we got the deviation and the reclaim, we can see how ENA put in this quite nice bottom and then rallied off the back of it. So potentially looking for a similar scenario to play out here on the weekly. A reclaim above 0.35 could be positive for ENA. and we could see a move towards 0.6, maybe even 0.9. We'll take a look at the volume profile. So yeah, the volume profile also shows that this is quite a high traded area with the high volume node POC right here. So that definitely makes it a difficult place to take positions into, but only into that area. So what I mean by that is from here, it makes it quite a difficult place to trade into because of the position of price below this high volume node POC. But if price did flip above here and retest, this retest would be a perfect place for a buy, buying into this high volume node POC, because also what we then have is the deviation and then the flip of the POC, the test of the POC, and we probably would trade towards 0.5, maybe even as high as that 0.9 area to the opposing side of that high volume node area and towards the high volume node POC. Yeah, the weekly's showing some good signs down here. For now, it's not ready just yet for a spot buy. It needs a bit more price action and price development. I'm liking what I'm seeing, and we'll go on to the daily time frame now. So looking at the daily, now we sort of have a rough idea of how the weekly outlook looks, right? We've discussed that we need to see a flip of the 0.35 area. That's the best place for ENA right now to get a flip. If we can flip above there, we should leg up. So we're going to take a look at the daily and see if there's anything that we can work with right now. Obviously, we have those equal lows below, which I said are kind of vulnerable right now. And I think until we swept these lows, done something like this, swept and reclaimed, I would be more inclined to wait for a flip above here, right? As of right now, I personally do not feel comfortable longing with the lows sat below us right now. So for that reason, I would either wait for a sweep into that low and then reclaim, or flip above that 0.35 area. And as I said, that seems like the best scenario. We sort of lock in a deviation under this big high time frame support, reclaim 0.35, buy the high volume node POC retest, and then we can look to buy the breakout on that. You've also got meme line on the daily, so you know you would have multiple confluences for a breakout. If we flipped above here, you would have that flip of the daily meme line, flip of the high volume node POC, deviation under here. All in all, that's a recipe for a great breakout. We have got a slight momentum divergence, but nothing worth shouting about. This seems like the best scenario right now for ENA is watching for a flip of that 0.35 area. Now onto the lower time frame, we can see sort of a range down here. It's pretty obvious that price is just ranging under this weekly level. Look to play the range until proven otherwise. As I said, maybe a sweep under here can provide a good setup for ENA, and then look to trade towards that opposing side of the range. Like, you know, after all, this is like a 30% range, so more than enough volatility to provide opportunity within this range. If we did get sort of break under here and reclaim, yes, I would take a long, and then I would target here. But until then, my higher time frame outlook remains to be buying a flip above 0.35. And you know, if we did get that long underneath the 0.25, happy days. Right now we're kind of trading in no man's land. It's not really a place for a position. So go back and have a look at the two scenarios that we already gave. I will quickly summarize them again right now. Two options that we're looking for on ENA right now. Option one, this is the higher time frame flip on ENA above this high volume node POC. This higher time frame deviation, if we locked this in, remember the step down price action I talked about, we can look at targeting 0.55 and then even as high as $1. The second option, this is more of a lower time frame play, but could give a higher time frame signal as well. If price swept and reclaimed this lower time frame range low, then we can look at trading towards the range high. And obviously if we flip there, happy days, we're going to go for the breakout. Try and time an ENA position with an ETH rotation. After all, ENA will probably only perform well if ETH performs well. If ETH BTC starts performing, you know, ETH meme coins are starting to do quite well, so that's a good sign for an ETH rotation. I think things will rotate to utility a lot later on. but keep an eye on ETH and how ETH is performing. I think that will have a major effect on the ENA price action for May and June. That's everything for this week's Charting from Blank episode. I hope you guys enjoyed, and please check out the socials in the link description. See you guys next week. Bye bye.